Hey, what's up, guys? Keyshawn McNeil, your financial and career coach. Today, we're going to talk about why you're not getting the job. Why aren't you getting called for that second interview? Why aren't you making it to the offer stage? What's happening? What are you doing that's causing you to have the process stop? You know, you're so excited about the job when you send your resume over, you get a call back or request for an interview, and then after that, nothing happens. Radio silence. What's going on? So if this is happening to you, please pay attention to this episode. I guarantee you the takeaways from this episode are going to put you in a position to be able to not only get those phone calls and go through that first interview, but we're going to help you get to the offer stage and then hopefully maybe accept the position or, do what's best for you at that point. So let's start off with the whole interview process. Actually, let's take it back to when you are looking for a job, because like the title says, why am I not getting the job, right? For some people, you guys aren't even getting any bites, as I'll call it, on your resume. You have your resume online and you think that the resume is going to work for itself, and it should help that phone ring a little bit, but for a lot of you, you're wondering, like, I'm not getting any phone calls, or I might get one phone call every month, and it's about some freaking to sell some insurance or something, right? You know what I mean? And you're like, what's going on, right? So first hack. Here's the first hack. Make sure you're paying attention. But before we go any further, there is a like button. It looks like this right below here. I want you to smash that for me. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, and you'll be doing me a great service for doing that. And then also, if you like what you see here today, you can wait till after you watch the entire video. Please subscribe to the channel and maybe share this link with some other people in your network who could be looking for a job, man. It's a tough time right now, you know what I mean? And it's a competitive market. So all the little tips that people can get to help them give some advantages, more the merrier. So please, again, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Comment, bad, good, whatever, don't matter, man. Just comment. Anyway, so first thing I want to point out to you guys is this. When you decide that you want a job, right, the first thing you do is you open that resume up and you kind of make sure that it has your current job on there. And in most cases, you go to some type of job site, be it any one of the job boards, Monster, Career Builder, there are about 1,000 of them out here at this point, and you post your resume, and then you wait for someone to call you, right? That's typically what 99% of the U.S. population does. And for most people, that's enough. They get phone calls and then they decide, I'm interested in this job or I'm not, and the company vice versa decides that they're interested in you, and you go through a process. Or you start searching online for jobs and you apply for a job, right? So it's one of two ways you do that. You apply, or you just put your resume out there into the atmosphere and hope for the best, right? So how do you get the biggest bang for your buck when you're putting your resume out there? Because your resume is probably the most important piece in this whole job search process initially, all right? And what I mean by that is when you decide it's time to look for another job, before you post your resume. So we say, prepare your resume. Keyshawn, what do you mean prepare my resume? I just list all my jobs on there, post it out there, and I get it going. Not exactly. If you really want to stand out to these recruiters and these hiring managers who are basically on these job boards and they're just going down the list and all they're doing is looking for keywords, you know what I mean? In most cases today, man, recruiters aren't really recruiting. They're just going online, searching keywords, and someone that knocks those keywords out and has a similar title to what they're hiring for now, they send them to the hiring manager. That's not recruiting, that's just doing administrative assistant work, right? So what you have to do in that case is you gotta make your resume stand out so that it really jumps out to these hiring managers, and we'll say recruiters at this point, because they're the gatekeepers. They're the ones that are going to decide if you move on to the next stage of what we call the initial resume review, you know what I mean, to being considered, about being submitted over to a hiring manager. So what I want you to do is first, when you pull your resume out, decide what type of job you want to you're looking for. And the reason why I say that is because what you should be doing, and there's some other videos on here that talk about updating your resume. What you should be doing is updating your resume to the job you want. If you want to be presented online and you're looking for a business analyst role, your titles need to reflect that. Your job titles need to reflect that. So if you're a business analyst now, your job title needs to say business analyst, and your jobs before those jobs, even if you weren't a business analyst, they need to show in the work history that you were kind of doing analyst type work, all right? Because you just want the resume to get your attention, get the attention of the recruiter. That's all you need to do. That's all you want is to get past that first stage of review, all right? So you have to update that resume. Don't just dust it off and post it. That old resume might have typos. Please also check your resume for typos. I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many people that I do mock interviews with that have interviews scheduled or just want to start practicing, right? They want to get back in their weight room, start practicing because they want to get back on the market. They don't even look at their resume for typos, just small typos. And those are things that you can control. You know what I mean? So if this resume, which is a document that's going to represent you, if you don't have that thing right, why is somebody going to want to call you? I can be honest with you, at the level of recruiting that I do for my company, if I see the resume is not looking right, man, I don't really care how solid you are. If I'm seeing all these bunch of typos or the format of the resume is crazy, and I'm not just talking about entry-level people. I have people that well over six figures that their resume is trash, and they may be very solid, but the image they're presenting is like, wow, they couldn't even take time to update their resume, at least format it correctly. I'll move on, because to me that's indicative of what type of person I'm getting. Because here at my company we like to recruit the 20%ers. So that basically means 20% of the people who are doing 80% of the work, right? So we recruit A players. That's what we recruit, But back to your resume. So you want to make sure that you update your resume. Now, on that resume, see, this is crazy because there could be little things as to why someone's not calling you. Now, on your resume, make sure you're writing this down, guys. I want you to have your name, your phone number. Okay, so we got name, phone number, and email address. Top of your resume, center, right? Or however you have it formatted. But name, phone number, email address. That's it. Please don't put your mailing address on there. Don't do that. Because what's happening is recruiters or hiring managers alike, they're looking at the resume and they're saying, oh, this person lives in Columbia, Maryland. They're not going to commute to Bethesda. See, they just decided for you. Because of the story that you gave them the story and they created their own ending. And what I mean by that is, by you having Columbia, Maryland on your address, for this example, and the opportunity being based out of Bethesda, they're thinking that the commute is too long. Why? Because it's probably too long for them. They're deciding for you. When in reality, you could be looking to move to Bethesda, Maryland. If you're dating or what have you, maybe your fiance or your boyfriend or girlfriend lives in Bethesda, so you're looking for an opportunity over there, right? Maybe you have property in Bethesda, right? Maybe Columbia is just a family friend's address, you know what I mean? Because you lived out there once and you never updated your resume, and that's not even really the address anymore. So there are so many different variables as to why it doesn't even matter. It shouldn't matter what address you have on there, because recruiters should look at the skills and don't decide for you. But I'm gonna tell you guys a trick here, a secret. If you have a list on your resume, recruiters gonna talk about it. And so what I mean by that, if you have Columbia, Maryland, for this example, listed on the resume, and the job is in Bethesda, Maryland, one of the first things a good recruiter is gonna do anyway is they're gonna say, I see you're in Columbia, is that gonna be an okay commute for you? So you've already given them something to give you a check mark against you. Now, how you answer that is all of everything. And it's cool that a recruiter asks you that, because now they're giving you a way to get off the hook. So you can say, oh man, yeah, I'm actually looking to move to Bethesda. Or actually, this is my parents' address, and once I secure an opportunity, I'm gonna be, renting or purchasing a spot in XYZ, whatever, right? But now you take the job back, right? So the recruiter was trying to take it away from you, but you took the job back, right? But guys, sometimes recruiters won't even ask that question. Matter of fact, they won't even pick the phone up and call you. What they're gonna do is see your resume online, up next, because they're gonna decide you don't wanna work in Bethesda. You know what I'm saying? Which is some bullshit, but that's what they're gonna do, right? So remember, that is probably, man, that may be 75% of why your phone's not ringing, just because of the address on your resume. Because people aren't calling you just because of that. Yes, it's crazy, but I'm just telling you, I've been doing this 22 years, and I've trained over 100 recruiters, over 150 recruiters, and their mindset initially is that, oh, this person lives in XYZ, they won't work there. How do you know that? So make that correction to your resume. All right. Next, we also already talked about, before I move on, please check your resume for formatting and updates. I mean, as far as spell check, please do that. All right. So you have two things now: check your resume for formatting and spell check, right? But then also, please only have your name, phone number, and email address on your resume, because a recruiter shouldn't ask you, where you live at and all that crazy stuff. What they will ask is, it's going to be okay commute for you, what area you commuting from. They may ask you that. They shouldn't, but they may ask you that. But at least at that point, you can kind of tell your version of the story. You are in position. You controlling the narrative now. So you can say what you want to say. You didn't just have something written down already, and now you got to justify it. So even if you did live in Columbia and the child's in Bethesda, if it's not on your resume, they say, where are you commuting from? You can say, oh, I'm right in the area in Bethesda. I'm right in that area. You see what I'm saying? So you're controlling that narrative. All right. You have to worry about distance now. All right. Another thing I want you guys to really, really take heed to when you're posting your resume online is go in every Sunday evening and refresh your resume. So this is tip 3. Hope you writing this down. I'm giving you nuggets to get your phone ringing off the hook. Update your resume, meaning refresh your resume. No, I'm not telling you to take your resume offline and then put a brand new resume up. No, refreshing your resume is simple as changing the salary from $85K to looking for $90K. You can just change that. Changing some of the wording in the resume. Just 1 or 2 words. Right? And then reloading or refreshing the resume. The system now, or the job board now, recognizes your resume as a brand new resume. So why is that important? This is why it's important, because now, instead of you being on page 20 or 30, you move back up to page 1, 2, and 3. See, a lot of you don't understand that when you post your resume online, some of it has done it 6, 7, 8 months ago, or maybe even 1 week ago, and you sit back and you wait for the phone to ring. If you notice, those first couple days when you post your resume, you get some activity, you get some emails and phone numbers, and then slowly but surely over time, then the calls slow up, right? You know what I mean? And you may even never wonder why, but this is why. Because once you post your resume online, on any job board, you may start on page 1, but by, let's say it's Monday, by that Wednesday, you're on page 12. And why is that important? Because when recruiters are looking for candidates on these job boards, they very rarely get past page 3. So if you're on page 12, how can they ever find you? All right? So that is probably one of the most important steps. Refresh your resume. Refresh your resume. All right? Honestly, with those 2, 3 nuggets I've already given you, you're gonna see a great difference, a big difference. All right. Now, every Sunday evening, just go in there and refresh your resume. So if you have your resume on 4 different job boards, and your resume is acting as your representative, and you go refresh it on 4 different job boards, yes, you're going to start to see that call activity pick up, that email activity pick up. Could they be jobs you're interested in? Yes. Could they be jobs you're not interested in? That's true too. But now at least you're getting that action versus just crickets, right? So those are very important. That is a very important step. All right. So what we've done now, we've talked about what to have on your resume, to format it and check for spelling errors, and then also to refresh it weekly. All right. So that's for those of you who, when we're posting our resume online. Now, for those of you who see jobs online and you want to apply to a specific job, and you wonder, oh, I didn't get any feedback, blah, blah, blah. And that may happen, It could be 30, 40 people, 50 people, 100 people applying for that same job. So when you apply for the job, before you actually, now I'm talking about applying for an actual job. I'm not talking about just posting your resume online. I'm talking about actually applying to a job. When you apply to a job, before you do that, look at the job description, all right? Then what you're going to do now is update your resume to read to that job description. So in some of your job details now, you want to add some of that language that's in that job description. Does that make sense? You want to add some of that language that's in that job description into your resume. Your resume has to read to that particular job. So if you're applying for a business analyst role, and you're doing, I don't know, we'll call it just general analyst stuff. We'll call it financial analyst. You need to update your resume to read to that job description. Now, anything you put on your resume, you got to be able to back it up, but you want to make it read the same way that job description reads. So that way, when you apply in, they're getting, the recruiters are getting 40, 50 resumes, for that position, for example. When they open yours, boom, looking for the title. Business analyst? Yes, business analyst. Check. You check that box. They can't hate on you on your location because you knew how to update your resume, right? Then they look for, let's look at the resume. Oh, no. Now, when they look at what you've done in your skill set and your work history, it's going to line up with what the job description is. So now they keep looking, oh, wow, this person checked boxes. All right, boom, let's put them in the pile to review further versus just rejection letter. Boom. So guys, now that tip right there is for when you're actually applying to someone else's job, like an actual job. But the job board stuff, already went over that. That's huge. Also, having your name, phone number, and email address only on your resume, because you want them to ask you the commuting situation. And when they ask you the commuting situation, simple answer, I'm actually in the Bethesda area. For example, if the job's in Bethesda, I'm not too far from that area, so that's a great commute for me. You know what I mean? The recruiter shouldn't go past that like, oh, so where exactly do you live? That shouldn't happen, I'm in the Bethesda area, blah, blah, blah. That's it. You didn't say you were in Bethesda. I'm in that area. That area could be a worldwide circumference, a big range, right? A big radius, right? So, guys, these tips will get your phone ringing. Please comment below. Let me know about your experience when you're trying to find a job and what you've done to maybe feel like it's helping you get more calls and things like that. Please comment below. Let me know what you're doing. I also want to thank you guys for checking out today's episode, man. It's something I'm super passionate about because I probably get asked 2 or 3 times a week to review resumes, right? And what I also do is I provide a service. I do mock interviews for individuals who have interviews that are coming up, or just a mock interview in terms of just trying to prepare to see where you are, because you have your resume out there and you want to be prepared when a job comes. So if you have an interview coming up, I strongly encourage you to sign up for one of my mock interviews. The link is below. Get on my calendar. It's a small cost, but it's worth it. It's worth it to get that practice. Someone's been in the game 22 years. It's worth it for us to do a mock interview, because what is that? It's just practice for you. It's practice to get ready and prepare. And from my mock interviews, I can guarantee you that when you get ready to go into your interview, man, you're gonna be prepared. I guarantee you're gonna get the job, but I guarantee you're gonna be prepared, and you're gonna see those questions coming. You're gonna know how to answer those questions better than just generic basic answers that your competition's giving. The same questions and answers your competition's giving. No, you wanna stand out, because again, you just wanna sell yourself in terms of getting to that next stage. We wanna get to the offer letter, man. We want you to get offer letters. So you gotta paint the correct picture. And sometimes for some people, it's hard for them to convey because maybe they don't know how to say it. Maybe they don't know the way to put the words together. Or sometimes they just don't know what to say. You know what I'm saying? So I strongly recommend if you have an interview coming up, or you're thinking about getting on the market, sign up for one of my mock interviews. You know, we do it either via Zoom or phone, just depending on the dynamic of what you have going on. But I can tell you the takeaways you receive with that resume critique that I do, along with that mock interview, it's going to be golden. It's going to definitely prepare you to get to that job market. All right. With saying that, guys, again, hit the like button, share this content. Please also comment, subscribe to the channel if you like what you saw today, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.